Hello dear viewers and welcome to RTV's English News Edition. The major stories for tonight are: preparations for tomorrow's first international trade fair in the Forum on Regional Integration is ongoing. Djibouti organizes tomorrow and after tomorrow two major events. This is the fourth international trade fair followed by a forum on regional integration. The preparations are all financed at the People's Palace, which is to host these two major events, which is held on the sidelines of the celebration of the 110th anniversary of the creation of Djibouti Chamber of Commerce. Public and private enterprises have already set up their stands and are only waiting for a large number of guests from Djibouti and abroad. The main theme will be private investment infrastructure for better regional integration in East Africa. For the Djiboutian economic operators, this international trade fair must inject a new dynamic to the economy of the Republic of Djibouti. Hundreds of political decision makers, representatives of international financial organizations and private actors are expected in Djibouti for these two important events. Company representatives will exhibit their products and services in Djibouti. They will come from all over the world to make us discover the excellence of their products and know-how. These two events will offer participants the opportunity to understand the quality of services like transport, ports, free zones and banks available in the Republic of Djibouti. As part of her tour in the localities in the interior regions, the Minister of Women and the Family, Mrs. Mumina Hamad Hassan, accompanied by the Deputy Minister in charge of decentralization, Hamadou Aramis, UNDP representative, Mrs. Barbara, the Prefect of the Tajora region, Mr. Abdul Malik Muhammad, and the Prefect of the Regional Council, Umar Hussein, went on Friday, December, to Girori, the sub-prefecture of Adailu in the Tajora region. The Minister and her delegation were greeted by a crowd who came to welcome the Minister and her delegation. After the welcome, the Minister and her delegation met with the population of this locality, who thanked the Minister and her delegation for thinking of their localities for this tour. And however, the population transmitted to the two ministers their grievances. Especially, they insisted on a transfer car for schoolgirls of the colleague between Giroru and Adailu, distance 17 kilometers. For their part, the two ministers promised to transmit their complaints to the ministers concerned, and the population of the locality did not fail to thank the First Lady of the country, Mrs. Qadra Mahmoud Haid, for the food granted and interest in them. The Djibouti Road Agency ADR, a new institution set up 4 years ago in charge of road corridors in regions and urban road networks. The ADR has received on November 5 at the ADR Technical Park a donation of road management equipment granted by the people of Japan. Following this reception, the director of the Djiboutian Road Agency, Mahmoud Musa Ahmed, announces the start of the rehabilitation works of several main road arteries of Djibouti, of the capital. It will also start work on major urban streets. He also added that the capital, especially on the Balbala side, new roads will be built at the Nasib city. The agency facilitated the circulation. A new bitumen ramp will be realized on the side of Nagat station. It was the turn of the Ali Sabih region that the State Secretary of Social Affairs, in close collaboration with the Ministry Delegate in charge of decentralization, worked for the vast campaign count of people with special needs. This operation will continue until December 15th. It is a continuation of national reflection last May devoted to the issue of disability. It aims to meet the expectations and needs of these people. This is why the government wants to have reliable statistical and socio-cultural data on people with disabilities. From one major event in this general consensus of people with special needs will enable national decision makers as a first step to have a more precise estimate of people with disability throughout the territory, but also to characterize their situation, to define the concept of disability. For those who are in a position to be able to move, they are asked to report to the nearest social offices and mobile teams. In the localities of the interior regions, a mobile team of visitors will be there. The Ministry of Labor, in charge of the reform of the administration in partnership with the MENFOB, launched for the recruitment of middle and secondary school teachers as student teachers of school for the start of 2018-2019 academic year. The written tests of the competition began today at the main sites of Djibouti State High School in the SFF. It is striking that the Ministry of Labor and the MENFOB have set up a new competition in accordance with degree establishing the single framework for teachers. As such, only candidates with a degree or equivalent have been allowed to compete. More than 1955 candidates are taking part in this new edition of the competition, ordered to fill 359 teaching posts, of which 239 are middle and high school and 120 in basic education. Successful candidates will receive a one-year pedagogical training at the Teacher Training Center for Basic Education. And continuing with the national news, as part of the program of environmental and ecology, the Red Sea Association, chaired by Mrs. Fatouma Dabele, closed this morning the second part of the training on the protection of the environment and the changes of behaviors and mentalities at the headquarters of Bandar Jadid. The workshop was attended by teachers from several institutions of neighborhood associations and civil society, and was animated by three experts, including Muhammad Abdu, a lawyer, and Mrs. Hasna Maki, technical advisor. The training model focused on environmental legislation, the treatment of special waste and environmental information issues, and the role of media in raising awareness. After the presentation of the different themes, an interactive debate separated the participants. The workshop was closed by the president of the Red Sea Association, Mrs. Fatouma Dabele, who thanked the participants, the Minister of Education, and the Embassy of Japan for their support. And on the international scene now, a suspicious object under investigation in the German city of Potsdam near Berlin has been found to contain explosive, local police said on Twitter on Friday. Hind Ibrahim has more to tell us.
The German city of Potsdam near Berlin has been found to contain explosive, local police said on Twitter on Friday. Police had connoited of the Christmas market in Potsdam and the surrounding area and sent in special force after being alerted about the suspicious object delivery to a pharmacy in the area. The suspicion of an improvised explosive device has been confirmed, police say on Twitter. No additional details were immediately available. Germany is on high alert for potential terrorist attacks after last year's deadly attack on a Christmas market in Berlin.
It is with these images we close this edition. It has been great to be with us. Thank you so much.